wait there a minute, Eldon. I have some lemonade.
We've got a lot of lumber in there that we can use for this confinement feeding setup that I've been thinking about.
Yeah, I think we should.
How about some lemonade, Gila?
No, thanks. I have to go out and finish that desky.
What lumber were you talking about?
That old barn over there. It's got a lot of lumber in it that we could use in a confinement feeding setup.
I sure hate to see that old barn go.
Well, I hate to see it go too, but times do change, and we've tore down a lot of buildings since we moved here. Your dad built this place up, but yet some of these things we just couldn't use, and we've tore down one building after another since we moved.
Well, I suppose if you think this is necessary, it's okay with me. It seems there's changes all the time, and they're happening faster every year, and this is something that we're going to have to accept.
Well, when you're between the rock and the hard place, you've got to change, or else.
Change. And it isn't just the old picturesque red barns, traditional symbols of American agriculture that are coming down, as the men still left on the land break with the past, break with the old ways of farming in order to survive. The changes taking place on the Eldon Wesley farm are echoes of changes on thousands of other family farms, as fewer and fewer farmers, struggling to provide for more and more Americans, seek out the most profitable enterprises, the new ways of agriculture that are all too often beset with some of the same old problems. Who is this man, the American farmer, on whose labor all of us depend? Well, whoever he is, he's different now than the farmer used to be. He may be the holder of a master's degree in ruminant nutrition, working for his father on salary this first year out of college. He may be a very successful insurance man, turned equally successful corn, hog, and cattle man, reversing the national trend of town and country migration. He may be a graduate civil engineer, formerly an all-star on his college team, formerly a football coach, but eventually heeding the example of his father, a master farmer, and returning to farm in partnership with his brothers. You will find him, president of the board of his cooperative, discussing ocean freight rates on a phone in the middle of a rice farm. You will find him hosting a meeting of the governor's Agricultural Study Committee, of which he is a most honored and respected member.
We must do something about this. We must have a market that we can depend on, otherwise we are in a bad situation.
You will find him in his office, reading the Wall Street Journal, connected by Watts line with the current market situation, or with his cattle buyers 1,000 miles away.
Glad to hear from you. I was wondering about the Chicago market compared with the Iowa market today.
And all too often, you'll find him mired to his boot tops in toil, sweat, and trouble. A farmer needs as many eyes as a potato to keep an eye on all of his problems.
I wonder if this shot will stop this foot rot. I wish I knew whether the corn had been watered enough. Last year I shut off the irrigation pumps too soon, and I don't want another yield like that.
Whatever the enterprise, wherever they farm, the men engaged in agriculture today must struggle with two common and complex problems: the costs they must pay, the prices they must settle for. It takes all the management skills he learned at the university, all the knowledge he once put to use as a VOAG teacher, all the experience he has gleaned in 13 years as an operator of his own farms, for Eldon Wesley to move ahead in that twilight zone called parity, the gloom-shrouded figure used to show the relationship between prices on things farmers must buy and on what they sell. But move ahead he has. sometimes at a pace which seems maddeningly slow for one of his energetic temperament. It took nearly a year of consultation with the State Health Department, University Extension, conservation specialists, and of course with his credit sources, for Wesley to implement the plans for his new feedlot. It's a feedlot to win acclaim from ecologists, designed to protect the Logan River down the slope from Wesley's land. And the anti-pollution engineering of his lot was not so much to satisfy governmental regulations as to satisfy Wesley himself. A farmer's life is the land, and water the wellspring of his life. The original conservationist must have been a man like Eldon Wesley.
Now we can stand 200 acres on the first planting within 2 or 3 week period. This will give us an idea then what we should do with some of this area in here.
What the successful farmer may not have been by nature originally, he is now by necessity, a desk man, dealing with all the charts, projections, and capitalization requirements of any other business executive. His record keeping must show him to the dollar how each of his enterprises, cotton, soybeans, herds, compare, so that he can concentrate his efforts where the greatest possibility for profit lies.
Thanks, sir.
He must make an art of marketing, independently or through his association or cooperative, sometimes in both ways, in order to realize that extra few cents per bushel, per hundredweight, or per ton that will make the difference between existence and disaster.